What's up, everyone? My name is Pastor Ernest Grant, and I'm the pastor of Accelerate Church in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And I can't begin to tell you how impactful Fusion has been for my wife and I the last few years. You know, a few years ago, we were leading a church in Camden, New Jersey called Epiphany Church, and the church was really doing well. Weekly attendance had doubled in a little over the year, and we were starting to see God do things that we had only dreamt. And as our church began to grow and as people's lives were touched with the message of Jesus, we really felt this strong calling to establish a new church in South Jersey. And we were going to call it Accelerate Church because we wanted to see the gospel run like an Olympic sprinter in the South Jersey region. And our hope was that this church would be dedicated to reaching those who are far from God and helping them know God, find freedom, discover purpose, and make a difference. And at that time, we were grappling with whether this calling was truly from God or not, or whether it was merely our own ambition. And so we began to do what anyone would do. We began to pray. And we asked that God would help us discern our call and know that this was Him and not empty ambition. And one of the most significant contributions or confirmations was when Pastor Brendan gave me a call. It was out of the blue. We didn't know each other, but we chatted on the phone for a while. We got acquainted, and then he asked me to come preach for him. And I remember the first time I spoke at Fusion, I was so nervous. I don't know whether it was the bright lights or the people in attendance. I'm not sure, but I was filled with all these insecurities. And then I remember Pastor Brendan leaned over to me and said, "Hey, Ern, God has anointed you for this work. You get up there in the power of the Spirit and do what He's called you to do." And let me just tell you, that lifted up my spirits. And then after preaching, I believe it was the second time at Fusion, you guys generously invested another $10,000 on top of the finances that you had already given to support us as we were launching this life-giving church. Those experiences bolstered our faith and reminded us that God was with us. And since that time, our relationship with Pastor Brendan and Pastor Danielle has only grown as they've helped us navigate tough conversations in our church, given us advice, help us deal with deep-seated issues. But their generosity, and your generosity as a church, is not limited to Sarah and I. It's actually been extended to our church as well. Because over the last several semesters, members of our church have attended Freedom Conference. And I can't begin to emphasize the profound impact that has had on our team. Discovering and experiencing healing from long buried and concealed issues has been a turning point for many of the leaders in our church. Man, I can't begin to tell you how impactful Pastor Brendan and Pastor Danielle are for us. Not only have they invited us into their home for personal mentoring and offered valuable insights into ministry, but they share their wisdom with generosity, and I'm so grateful. And one of the big things that I would say that I'm most thankful for is their heart for local church pastors in South Jersey. There's been a myriad of times where they've taken us on trips to help us get refreshed from all of the difficulty and the hardship that comes with pastoring. And I'm gonna tell you something, if it weren't for them, we would not be where we are. You guys truly are a miracle in motion, and Accelerate Church is so glad to be connected to Fusion Church.